Hey, welcome fans to Iconic Radio. Hey, this is Bruce Tassell. We got our guest this evening, Mr. Bill Mcdonald, who is the owner of XERS Radio. Bill, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing good, Bruce. Good to be back again. Hopefully we'll have better luck this week as far as the web waves out here.
Well, Bill, I thought last week's show was fantastic with you. I think we covered a lot of ground, and I want to get into some new material with you, but we'll go over the past of what last week was, too. And, of course, this is Iconic Radio at the Iconic Cafe, downtown Mishawaka. And I guess the first question, Bill, like we asked last time, you're the owner of the station. How did you even come about getting this?
Well, XERS Radio's been around for about 10 years. It was predominantly a blues station. Did a lot of remotes. They promoted the blues here in the Michiana area. And I was asked to become a DJ on Wednesday nights back in December of 2010 to fill a hole that they had on Wednesdays. And enjoyed it. Had a good program going. And a little over a year ago, Tony approached me and said he was going to sell the station, put it up for sale. And I wanted to keep it here in Michiana, so I purchased the station. We moved it to Pleasant Valley. Up here on the 32nd floor of the XERS building, and it's been a little over a year, and it's been a big success the first year.
Oh, I'll say, like I said, everyone I talk to really enjoys it. You know, like I'm up here at the studio now with you, and it's just amazing the music memorabilia you have up here. When did it start for you? Were you like 5, 6 years old when you got the music bug?
My first vinyl I bought was, maybe I was 10 years old. I got the Best of the Guess Who. And I was about 10 years old, and then I didn't buy anything else for about 4 more years until I was about 14, 15 years old, and Frampton Comes Alive.
Oh, the double album, yes.
Yeah, Thin Lizzy, Jailbreak, and that's when the deluge started. I just started buying vinyl right and left, and was up to about 13 crates at one time. But yeah, I've always been a music collector, been really into music, and then fell in love with the Beatles about 1980, and the rest was history there.
My first song with the Beatles was Lady Madonna. That's the one that blew me away. What was yours?
Oh, boy, I think it was probably back in the USSR. A kid brought the Blue Album, 67 to 70, into English class one day in middle school, and he put that third side on him. I heard them jet engines flying in. It blew me away. I had never heard anything like it, and I think that was the very first time. I'd heard of the Beatles and heard their songs before, but the first time I really took notice was back in the USSR, I think.
Where did you used to buy your records? I know Just for the Record was where I used to buy them at the 100 Center.
Down in the basement there, yes. They'd give you that plastic sleeve with a Ziploc and Just for the Record, and I'd buy sometimes at Boogie Records across from Town and Country Shopping Center.
Yes, okay.
Once in a while, Max is over there on Mishawaka Avenue in River Park. I bought Revolver there, Max's record rack. But mostly Boogie Records and Just for the Record.
Oh, it was great being down there. They'd have the incense burning. And of course, it'd be the old brewery and the brick. I mean, it was a beautiful place to buy it. Do you still own your sleeves and everything?
I do. I still have some Just for the Record sleeves.
So how many records you got now?
Vinyl, I've probably got a couple hundred, but CDs, I'm up over 1,200 CDs now. So.
Oh, okay. And then how about on the computer? What do you got digital?
I keep it all. I like it on CD and vinyl.
Are you more of an analog guy than a digital, or does that even compare?
It doesn't matter. I find CDs convenient because I can add them to the station when I want. Vinyl, I have a hard time sitting still long enough to hear an album anymore. But
you know, isn't that sad? I mean, you used to get together with friends, and we'd go over 2 or 3 albums at a time, discuss the music, try to figure out keys and everything, and it's almost like a lost art now. People don't do it.
Well, you know what, Bruce? We're coming up on a break here. I think we're gonna listen to some 10,000 Maniacs here. Some Hey Jack Kerouac, maybe.
Yes, we'll put her on.
Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Almond Joy's got nuts, Mounds don't. Almond Joy's got real milk chocolate, coconut and munchy nuts too. Mounds got deep dark chocolate and chewy coconut. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Peter Paul, Almond Joy's got nuts, Peter Paul, Mounds don't. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't.
back live. That was AC/DC, Back in Black, and it brings up, Bill's got his guitar down here. It's a 74 Gibson SG, along by his AC/DC poster, so it was a tribute to that. Bill, we're getting to start. When did you start playing music?
Well, about 1974, my dad asked me if I wanted to take some guitar lessons. I said, sure. So we went down to Farber's Music House there in Hodgson and Lincoln Way, there in Mishawaka. It used to be right there by the fire station, the old fire department. And took lessons from James Farber. My dad took lessons on the accordion, so I'd sit and wait for him to get his lessons in. I'd do mine, and it was funny because there was a big black and white glossy picture of a guy up on the wall playing this big old Gibson Country Gentleman, one of these big old guitars, and he had a big smile on his face, and I never knew who that was and never thought about it. And now I'm looking straight ahead, and there he was. It was George Harrison. It was a black and white glossy of George Harrison playing that very guitar. And
which is a Rickenbacker.
Yeah. I never put two and two together all them years ago. Now I look back and I remember the picture. That's who it was. It was George Harrison. But I took lessons for a few years from James, and taught me the basic chords. He wasn't real proficient. I mean, I learned the chords and music, but I've always been a rhythm guitarist. I play chords and sing harmonies, and don't ask me to run leads or do a lot of fancy picking. I don't do that. So,
well, it's great. It's neat. You love music and you play music too, and you sing also.
Yeah. I had a band together a couple years ago. We had a band called City to City, and John Brasser on drums and Joey Bishop on the bass, and I was on guitar, and we had Perry Tirada on lead guitar, and we all shared vocals, and we were on about 6 months, did a couple gigs, and the problem with asking people to be in your band that are in other bands is that you're always at the bottom of the food chain, and you can never squeeze in practices, and it's hard to get gigs because they're always gigging with the other bands. So we were together about 6 months. We're still great friends, but we kind of called it quits. We still have our Facebook page up. We get likes every week, I think, but it was fun. It was a fun thing to do. We had a few good gigs, but.
Did you record a CD or anything?
No, there's a short video on our Facebook page of us playing a 4th of July bash up on Shapehead Lake. Us doing some Creedence is in that video, about a minute long. But that's about all that's out there from us. That's about it.
Well, it's great. I've always admired you because your passion for music. And you talked about your dad taking accordion lessons. Is your family music? I mean, did you guys hang out at the house? And
not really. My dad, he just did that so I would have someone to go with, I think. But no one in my family is really musical. Now, my daughters are another story. My daughters have both taught themselves guitar. Elise has released some music herself, and my niece, she plays violin for the band Von Strauss here in town. She taught herself guitar, so the kids have taken it up, but no, the rest of my family, they weren't musically inclined at all, really.
So how do they feel about you in being involved in music?
They didn't take too kindly at first. My mom and dad, I was raised real strict. I was a Pentecostal kid, and when I started bringing the records home, they wanted to go over every one of them with a fine-tooth comb and make sure there was no swear words, and they wanted to ask me what the meaning of this song was and that song, and they put me through the third degree at first, and then I just got too many albums in the house. I couldn't keep track of them anymore, and they would my dad especially would nag at me. My first concert was with Sammy Hagar opening for Boston in May of 1979, and he about went through the roof when I told him I was going to see Boston, and I was 16 years old.
Wow. Sammy was good back then, too. I mean, he's good now, but...
The Red Rocker.
Oh, geez, and Boston, too, for that.
Yeah, they were great. ACC, Notre Dame.
Oh, definitely. And that was the great thing back then. You could go to Morris Civic one week, ACC the next week. Concerts were like $5-7.
I think it was $8.50 to see Sammy Hagar in Boston.
Oh.
And that was my first concert for my birthday, and it was great. I enjoyed it. It was super.
But that's what I like about this radio program you got. I mean, kids can listen to it, and they can get back into it.
Yeah, that's true. But
All right.
Yeah.
We're here on the board here.
Yeah. Just bring the volume down there. There you go. There you go. There you go. It's awful busy in this diner. You're doing a great job here, Bruce. I mean, people are coming in and ordering egg foo young and all this good stuff. And this one girl over here, I thought she was a little egg foo too young, actually. But anyway, that's all good.
Well, what's the future plans for the radio station anyway?
Well, we want to grow. We're moving to a more efficient internet platform next week, so we're not going to be having the problems we've been having recently. We've been growing in the bandwidth. We've outgrown our bandwidth actually, so we're gonna improve that. We're gonna get out in the community more. We got some new shirts being printed up, and we're
Did
gonna.
they pick yet? White or gray?
They're leaning towards black shirts.
Okay, I can handle that.
We're going to be taking pre-orders this time because we want to get different sizes, small, medium, large, tent size, And so we'll be taking some pre-orders. Once I get a pre-order for 10 of them, we'll go ahead and order them and get them on order. But we're just expanding ourselves this next year. We're going to try to make ourselves more exposed out in the community, maybe add a couple more shows. Learn how to record these shows so we can archive them. That's my main goal for this next year, to be able to, for each individual DJ to archive their own shows, so if they want, we can replay them.
Well, and that's what we're doing with the cafe too. We're back to Adam Nelson. Shout out to you. He's back home doing it now. Because I want to play the station at the cafe 24/7.
Yeah.
And it would be really neat if a customer would come in that I did an interview with, that we just punch up his interview while he's having his tenderloin sandwich.
Absolutely. But yeah, I'm trying to get our customers to and that comes with the better streaming. I don't expect someone to play our station if it's going to break up every 5 minutes. So we need to have a better platform so that you can stream this live, the music 24/7, because we got some great music on here. And, we go from Chuck Berry and Elvis all the way up through Coldplay, Radiohead. You may hear Black Sabbath, then you may hear the Carpenters, then you may hear the Sex Pistols. You never know.
Well, how do you do that? How do you decide what's on the playlist?
Well, I try to keep it 9 out of 10 songs. People are going to lean towards stuff they're familiar with. I can't put a bunch of songs in here that people don't recognize. So 9 out of 10 songs you're going to hear are going to be songs that you remember from your childhood or whatever. Top 40, whatever, classic. And once in a while I'll stick a good song in you don't know, but it's a catchy tune and you'll catch on to it real quick. But there's some artists like Tim Buckley and Lilac Time and the Stone Roses and places, people like that you might not know, but songs are good. The songs are good, and after a while you'll hear them. But we got everything from the 50s up through now. We have a computer here that picks them randomly. You won't hear a repeat. It takes a week for them to repeat songs, so you won't hear the same song within a week, and you won't hear the same artist within a 24-hour period. So it's kind of nice.
You integrate Facebook with this too. In fact, you can Facebook Live. I was there last night on Deep Tracks on it. How does that work?
We just tell people that we're on Facebook and you can contact us there.
Do you get a lot of response with that?
Somewhat, yeah. We do get people that say they're listening, but we just tell people that we got a hotline here that we're going to integrate more this next year. So we're going to integrate the hotline so people can call in more.
Well, I'm going to do that with Iconic Radio. In fact, we talked about live Twitter, Facebook too. I just think nowadays you just have to have an interaction with people.
You do.
There's just so much media fighting against it. So.
Well, my first favorite band was Boston, and then I moved to Aerosmith, and then I found the Beatles. But I'd really like to hear some Aerosmith now, Bruce.
Well, you must have read my mind because I got some old Aerosmith, Mama Kin, which is
off their first album.
Yes, which was one of their best. So it's coming up right here. All right, Iconic Radio. We got a couple Aerosmith songs. We'll be right back. All right, that was Train Kept It Rolling, and I tell you, I went through 2 albums of that Aerosmith with the old needle.
Get your wings, man. Get your wings.
Some great stuff. So, hey, we're back on with Bill McDonald here at the Iconic Radio Cafe. Bill, why don't you help us out on social media, which is important to the radio station, your Facebook and your webpage.
Absolutely. You can listen to us if you have an Android or an iPhone. You can find TuneIn Radio. You can download XCRS Radio, TuneIn Radio on your phone and listen to us that way. You can go to xcrsradio.com and bring us up. It works best with Internet Explorer for some reason, but you can bring us up on the web, minimize it, and go about your work and listen to us during the day. You can communicate with us through Facebook at XERS Web Radio on Facebook. And you can also, sometimes when we let you know, contact us on the Green Aid Lawn Care Hotline. You can call us on the phone here in the studio, but that's only if we tell you can, because sometimes we're not hooked up. But you can get us on Facebook, XCRS Web Radio, and you can let us know you're listening, and we can give you a shout-out there, too.
You know, there's a business side to this radio station, too. And you're a very good businessman. If someone wants to start entrepreneuring, even radio or any kind of business, what's your advice to them?
Well, start small. Don't try to grow too fast. We were very careful counting our pennies, and we didn't want to get the cart before the horse. We moved the station to Pleasant Valley a little over a year ago. Started out with zero balance. We're doing quite well now. Got a lot of great volunteers on the station. But we just try to watch what we spend money on, our expenditures, keep them low, because you never know when your sponsors are going to go away and you're not going to have that revenue coming in. So none of us take a profit. None of us have taken a penny from this from day one, outside of the purchase of the studio and the station. But it's all volunteer, 100%.
And if people want to sponsor, how would they contact you?
Well, you can contact me through, message me on XCRS Web Radio on Facebook or at XCRSWebRadio@AOL.com and let me know. We're real affordable. We go by a quarter, 3 months at a time, and we charge $75. We run your ad 6 times a day, and it averages out to about $5.77 a week for us to run your ad 42 times.
You know, and the ads are great. In fact, do you have the name of the people that help you out with those ads?
Well, Mike Hayes at Kickstart Studios is our main person that helps us with the ads. We also have Steve Willis, our Friday night DJ, that's helped us out also. But it's mainly Mike Hayes.
Okay, so, and this is internet radio, so this goes all over the world.
We are all over. We're in all 50 states, and we're in over 30 countries around the world. So we are basically around the world, and we've had people listen in from Germany, Venezuela, England, you name it. We've had people listening. Japan.
So, but people from, let's say, Japan could also get an ad in it, right? I mean,
well, absolutely. Anybody can advertise here. They just contact us, and we'll be back in touch, and we'll write the ad, and we'll get it put in. It's, you know.
Well, and I was thinking too, you know, for me, since it's an internet radio, you know, you'd want internet companies, which would work well with it, you know, for people being on it. So, again, give Bill a call with that, because it's a great show on that.
One of our sponsors is Agamemnon Self-Defense, and it's merely a website. It's not even a physical store. It's just a website, and they're one of our best sponsors.
Well, great. Hey, I want to get back to the Beatles. I got some songs coming up. You always go to the Beatle Fest. You know, you've been saying that, so what's some of the most, have you met any of the Beatles? Or
met Pete Best, the first drummer they had before Ringo. Met him back a few years ago at the Fest for Beatles. I've met Billy Preston. I've met Alan Parsons, Donovan, Billy J. Kramer, who was also managed by Brian Epstein. Just a number of people. Greg Hawkes of the Cars. They've had some great guests up there. Mike Gibbons, the drummer from Badfinger, was up there one year. Just a number of people that have been associated with the Beatles. Ronnie Spector. This year they had Mickey Dolenz of the Monkees, and they had Peter Noon of Herman's Hermits. And yeah, so it's been fun.
So what do you ask them, you know, when you meet these iconic people?
I just kind of just tell them I appreciate their music and what they've done over the years, and if I have a certain question for them, I'll ask them something, you know, about a certain song or something. But usually I'm just getting their autograph and the picture and thanking them, and you know, I don't want to bug them too much.
You know, on music too, what is music to you that's good and what isn't? You know, is there something you can say? Do you feel it? Is it?
Yeah, I mean, I've got my guilty pleasures that you know, I really wouldn't say what I would listen to. But you know, mostly it's I read a lot of critics' opinions on music, and that helped form my opinion on a lot of music. Reading through the Rolling Stone record guide, and some of them where they would rate the records, and that's where I first gained my appreciation for like the Velvet Underground and Frank Zappa, and some of the stuff that's off the beaten path. I just, you know, I would search out these records, you know, like It's a Beautiful Day or Quicksilver Messenger Service, you know, bands like that. I would, you know, it would say this is a hard to find album, so I set out on a quest to find this album. And, you know, they would say this is one of the best albums of all time. It's by a band called Love, Forever Changes. And I'd never heard of the band, so I would go find that album and listen to it. And, yeah, so that's basically how I learned about music. It wasn't always top 40. I love top 40. But it was also finding them hidden gems. Bringing home a Doobie Brothers album and listening to the songs that weren't the hits. That's what I like doing. Digging deep into the album, finding the album tracks.
Well, and like you said, back in the days when you got with a group of friends and you listened to an album and you discussed it, you know, again, to me, back then it was about communication, you know, social, you know, the songs had a meaning, you know, and you had to decipher what the meaning was.
Right, exactly. You know, music's always been there. I call it my best friend. No matter who was ever there for me in my life at any time, or girlfriends or friends, music has never let me down. I can say that it's the one friend I've had that's never turned their back on me. And I could come home and pull out 4 or 5 albums and lock myself in my room and spend the evening with music. And it's been my best friend throughout my whole life.
You know, sorry, but I know you go out and you listen to a lot of live music too. So what some of your favorite bands around here locally? Oh, I don't want to push you into...
Yeah, some of my favorite bands right now locally, Top Secret, Members Only, of course I run lights for them. Members Only and High Five Band I think are my favorites right now. Top Secret's good. In the past, Driving Rain, Zibby Tebow, you know, there's been some that have went away, but Driving Rain was the first band recently when I've gotten back into the scene that I really followed closely and hung out with back about 6 years ago. Driving Rain was my first, after I had been away from music for about 20 years raising kids. But before that, it was the Kinetics, and it was Zibby Tebow.
Oh, wow.
And Force of Habit, Zachariah, Buster, some of them guys. Icy Hot.
Oh, well, that's going way back on there. I mean, geez, with Icy Hot. What's your favorite local venue or, you know, anything?
Phoenix is pretty much my second home. The Phoenix. I love the Phoenix. Center Street, sometimes they've kind of gotten away from the live music scene. I'm getting more and more accustomed to going to 5-Star Dive Bar, but Phoenix is my second home. I have my mail forwarded there, so to speak.
You know what, too? I like it. They have a no cover charge.
Yeah.
I always appreciate that.
Yeah, Rich is good about that.
Wait, we're getting close here. We're going to bring on a little Ted Nugent band, Amboy Dukes, and it's the Journey to the Center of the Mind. And then we got a couple of Beatles coming up, Lady Madonna, and of course Bill's favorite back in the USSR. Again, this is Iconic Radio. We'll take a little break with these songs and be right back with you. All right, we're back on Iconic Radio with Bill McDonald, owner of XCRS Radio.
Man, it's getting busy here at the diner, man. Everybody's coming in here eating them tenderloins and all that comfort food, man.
You know, you got to try one. It's like a mini-sized football.
When are you gonna start having one of the little machines where you take a number, you know?
Yeah.
Sit down, take a number. Sit on that person's lap.
Well, what I want to get is instant mashed potatoes like it used to be at Wayne's place.
Okay. So is that when you pour the flakes on the plate and just pour the water on top?
It's in a machine, but yeah, you just put your bowl under there and it just makes this noise and comes out hot mashed potatoes.
Wow.
But the cafe is neat, and like you, I have a passion for music, entertainment, artists, and it's almost, I share the same with you, only it's serving food and a place to go to, but I would sure love to have many artists come in be able to do it. And like you, too, it's about communication. Like after you hear someone play, you want to go up and talk to them. You know, when you go see these people, you know, you want to get eye contact. You know, get a taste of who they are, you know, and I think that's just as important as listening to the music.
Well, you know, it used to be that I was excited about going to see someone play, but anymore, I'm more excited if I know I'm going to get to go backstage and talk to them afterwards. I take all my shit with me, and they sign it, and I get pictures, and I'm more, you know, I'd almost forego the concert just to be able to meet them afterwards.
Do you try and sell that stuff too, or is it just you keep it?
Oh no, it's all for me. I'm not selling that stuff. No.
So who's your favorite of all time you've met, or who haven't you met that you want to meet?
I'd love to meet Paul McCartney or Ringo Starr, or I don't know. The ones I've met Mark Lindsay of Paul Revere and the Raiders, David Clayton Thomas of Blood, Sweat and Tears. He was kind of an ass, but John K. Steppenwolf. I've met Davy Jones and Mickey Dolenz. Just a number of people. I've had dinner with 38 Special. I've met Little Feat. It's been a good ride, man. It's been fun.
So what do they act like? I mean, are they different, or is it the same kind of people?
You know what? Most of the people are good. They're humble. They're appreciative. There's only been very few I can count on one hand that really acted like an asshole. That's all I can say.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we don't want to put names on there, but we'll let that go.
Yeah.
We were just talking on break about remotes going live, and you said you'd be interested in getting that going again, which I think is great.
I have no issue with that. That would be a great thing. I just need a lot of help when it comes to that kind of stuff. Because I know how to build a great playlist, I know how to build a station and promote it and go out and kiss hands and shake babies, but, you know, it's when it comes to the IT part of it, the web building and the computer part of it, I need help. Help!
Well, I think it'll be great, something to have, to help promote the show, promote other businesses and everything. What's the farthest call you've had from anyone calling in from other countries?
Well, we've had people making connections from Japan, Malaysia, Venezuela, Germany, and then in the States here, we've had them from all over, from Montana to Connecticut, and made a few friends here and there.
Oh, I think it's great. And, you know, we talked, too, we're on break about music and, you know, what inspires you and your genuine, what do you think of the music nowadays, you know, coming out? Is there anything that inspires you, or is it, you know, you're just back in the days of it?
There's very little these days that inspire me. Like I said before, I believe the peak of music was about 62 when the Beatles hit the scene in Britain. And the music, I think there was more creativity and more breaking ground, pushing the envelope between 1962 and about 1975. And after that, we crossed the hill and we were on the backside. Disco took over. We got a little reprieve when punk rock came along and new wave, and then we had the grunge era. And there was things to be found in that, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, and some of that stuff. But overall, I think the quality of the music and the creativity, I mean, you're not writing anything new anymore. Everything's been written, everything's been played. All you're doing is rearranging it now. And that's where the sampling, I think when people started sampling music, whether it was Queen or Rick James or whatever you were sampling, to me, that's not, maybe, I don't know, creative, but to me that's not writing new music. You're taking something that was old and you're just laying new lyrics on top of it. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah, but I mean it makes sense on that too. But it's like food though. You know, we've created every kind of dish, but again, to me it comes with the intention, what's behind it too.
That's true.
You know, I mean, they always say your mom's cooking was the best or your grandma's, you know, and so I do see your point too, but I do love when I hear something live that it is from the heart and the soul, and kind of brings it out with it.
Well, there's a lot of great groups around here. Von Strahn's, and it's all original music, and I call it gypsy music. Von Strahn's does like a Renaissance-type gypsy music. The Tumbleweed Jumpers, Paul Erdman. There's a lot of great stuff around here that's original that I love. It's good stuff.
And you have a program that plays that too, don't you?
Yeah, it's Monday nights. It's the Michiana scene, usually with Mel Williams or John Brasser or Jim Stanton. And we feature local musicians, and we play only local music on Monday nights.
We're getting close out of time, but do you like any other kind of music, like blues, jazz, classical?
Yeah, in small doses. I listen to blues, I listen to jazz, some not very much classical, but mostly blues, jazz, and rock and roll and pop, old pop. But yeah, yep.
Any chance of getting a band back together?
I am so busy right now. I'm barely getting 5 hours sleep a night, and between the radio station and my DJ business for weddings and things like that, running karaoke, and then I work a full-time job for HP Products during the day, which I've done for over 28 years now. I just don't have the time. I don't know what night I would set aside even to rehearse. And then there's out pushing the band, booking. It's a lot of work, and it was on my bucket list. I did it for a little while, and I'd love to again. But then 3 o'clock in the morning comes awful late some nights when you're out playing.
Well, Bill, we're getting close to about 30 seconds here. I always appreciate it, and I feel honored to be one to be able to interview you for the Iconic Radio Show. And again, we'll have this archived. It'll be on the Iconic Cafe website and also Facebook, and that's Iconic Cafe Mishawaka. So check us out on that. And Bill, thank you very much for the opportunity. And we'll see you back next week, 9 o'clock again, for another hour of Iconic Radio.
And don't forget, tonight at 11 o'clock, we have the radio classics, and tonight we got Mysterious Traveler, we got Death Comes to Adolf Hitler, and The Locomotive Ghost, both coming from you from the 1950s. So tune in 11 o'clock for some old-time radio.
You know what? By this clock, I might have a minute or two.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we're back on here.
Yeah, but that's brought to you by the Phoenix Bar and Grill. And if you want to get out to the Phoenix this weekend, tomorrow night's Out by 8, and Saturday night's Deadly Devotion at the Phoenix. Tell Rich you heard it on XCRS Radio. Please tell him you heard it on the radio. He wants to hear some feedback there.
Yeah, and definitely support the local music scene. Like I said, the members were playing the other night at Smith's, a band from England, which was fantastic. So, and it's a great scene in the area. It really is. So, and I know it's tough sometimes to get out and see stuff, but hey, that's what we got. So, all right, Iconic Radio, we're checking out. This is Bruce Tassell, again with Bill Mcdonald. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.